partner to join. And
Okay.
okay,
So good afternoon. Yeah, okay. So good afternoon, everyone. So I'm Tina from the Redstone marketing team. Thank you for joining my training sessions. So today the topic is our high availability solution, which is designed for the mission critical projects. So you may have noticed that I will be presenting 3 key sessions. So at a first look, these topics may seem irrelevant, but in fact, they are closely connected because whether we are talking about the design architecture, right, our demanding vertical industry, or the typical product, so the common foundation is the high availability, the reliability, ensuring the stable, secure, and scalable communications. So I've structured them as a connected learning path. So in today's section, I will cover some the core architecture such as the dual server HA or the dual disaster recovery or the logics that enable the failover or the strategies and the case studies. So I'm very happy to walk you through all of them today. So what is the importance of the high availability? Because today the larger enterprise have increasing demand for the system reliability. That's why we should design specifically for the critical projects to ensure the business continuity. So the high availability architecture should ensure that the overall service remains uninterrupted, right? Even a single network element or the hardware component. So the system must have a disaster recovery capabilities in the event of some nature disasters, like the earthquakes, like the floods. So in these cases, a remote backup center can take over the operations to minimize business loss. So the third is the legal and the regulatory requirements in some sectors I will mention about tomorrow, like the banking industry, the public security, and some healthcare. They demand the 24 hours and 7 days uninterrupted services. And another point of view is in today's highly competitive business environment. So particularly in some like the service sector, reliability is not a technical requirement. Actually, it's business requirement because your UC systems is often the first point of contact for the customer. So it's shaping your brand from the very beginning. So a single outrage can influence your order processing. So you put your entire customer services will on hold if the system fails, and it will damage the images that you work so hard to with your customer. So that's why the high availability it is not optional; it is essential. Okay, so what is the common threat that will affect the whole system and destroy the continuity? The first one I just mentioned, like the nature disasters, earthquakes, like floods, these are uncontrollable and unpredictable. So that will completely destroy a data center. And the second one, like the cyber attacks, such as the virus or the malicious intrusions, like the hackers constantly scan your networks to influence your communication systems with attacks. And third one, the human sabotage. This is not common, just like some personal deliberately disrupt the system components. And the fourth, it's the technical failure. It means like something like the agent hardware or the system vulnerable or the failure of the networks. So how to deal with these things, how to address them? So a very high availability solution must comprehensively cover all the components, no matter the software, the hardware, the power supply, and network infrastructure, to ensure that there is no single point of failure in the system. So, like I just said, how do we address them through the redundancy in architecture design, the failover mechanism? How do we do the early warning and recover from the disruptions? So all of our devices support the dual power supplies and dual network interface. This is from the hardware perspective, right? But you can see in the picture, it's from a deployment perspective. So we offer the flexible architectures based on the geographic layouts. To summarize, the local single center supports virtual IP, the active-active, and the crucial deployment. Please be mentioned that the crucial deployment in the single center, which can be only supported by our new link products. And the dual remote centers can support the active-active, the active standby, and the clustering. And the third part is the multi-remote centers primarily use the cruiser-based solutions. So this is the full picture of our availability solutions. So it fall into the three categories. So maybe I go a little details. For example, the dual remote centers are usually deployment in the different cities, or if not different city, it at least or above the 60 kilometers apart with the same city to avoid the risk like that you being in the same building. So these setups supports active standby, and cruiser-based solutions. And for the multi-remote centers, such as the 2 locations, 3 centers, or 3 centers, 5 centers of 3 locations, 5 centers, it's commonly adopt a crucial architecture involving at least 3 sets of the machines in a large-scale cruiser. So in some countries, institutions like a bank usually adopts the 2 locations, 3 centers mode. So we